In the 21st century, everything you could possibly ever want is just a tap away. This sounds fun, right? Pleasure at your fingertips. But there is a dark reality underneath this pleasure. The food that you crave, it was designed to make you addicted, tired, and depressed. The apps that you scroll, they were built to hijack your focus and are destroying your attention span. The porn, the hypersexual content on apps like TikTok and Instagram, this is reshaping your brain and destroying it just the way that cocaine does. Like, you could go on one of these nofap subreddits and just see how many young men are getting erectile dysfunction and just having dog shit mental health directly as a result of porn. And you know what the worst part is? All these things have now become socially acceptable. Sugar is the drug that is present in every single social gathering. And if you insist that you're not eating junk today, then you would get a few frowns. And back when I was in high school, dudes were openly talking about the kind of porn they used to watch. And you were kind of labeled as the weird kid if you said that you didn't watch this stuff. This is gonna sound kind of harsh, but 90% of the people around you are addicted to one of these drugs. And they would actually fight tooth and nail to justify their usage. Because you clicked on this video, I'm guessing that you are not the type of person who just wants to numb himself with quick pleasures. But you're rather the type of person that wants to achieve things in life. Maybe you want to be the strongest man in your bloodline. Maybe you want to become a top tier software engineer. Maybe you want to become a UFC fighter. Or maybe you just want to become a well-rounded man. Whatever your ambition is, there is only one thing that separates those who want to live a life of comfort and waste away their years, and those who actually want to put in the work and leave their mark on the world. That one thing is discipline. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to acquire that trait of discipline. And to be honest with you, this is not going to be one of those wholesome, feel-good kind of videos where I say stuff like eat sugar in moderation or masturbation is kind of healthy sometimes. In this video, I'm actually going to give you brutally honest advice. So let's get right into it. You know, for quite a long time, I was just this person who just woke up and started existing. Even though I had goals, I wanted to bench like 100 kgs and I wanted to read like 2 books a month. But despite that, I had absolutely no structure to my day. Because that is what I had been taught. That, hey, set goals. Goals are important. Every productivity back then was just about goal setting. But the truth is, no matter how many goals I would set, I would never accomplish them. That's because I was not living a life catered towards achieving these goals. Goals alone are simply not enough. A goal gives you a general direction of where you're supposed to be putting your efforts in. But without knowing the specific path to that goal, you are just going to end up walking in random directions. We need some form of a structure to our day that tells us how exactly you're supposed to live your day-to-day life such that you could actually hit your goal 6 months from now. Do this exercise right after this video. Ask yourself what are the 1 or 2 goals that you would like to hit in the near future, and make sure there's nothing more than 2. Now ask yourself the second question. What are the few things that if I do them every single day, it would be impossible for me to not hit my goals? And these are the things that you should be putting in your routine. If your goals are firstly to gain 10 pounds of muscle and secondly to read 2 books a month, then some of the things that you might be required to do every day is perhaps training for an hour, eating 2 to 3 meals, getting proper sleep, reading an hour a day. So you basically need to do these 4 things every single day to hit your goals. And now that you've decided your goals and understood what are the requirements for these goals, I want you to think of the exact times at which you would be doing those requirements. This now becomes the structure for your life for the next few months or until you accomplish those goals. All you need to do now is just wake up and blindly follow this routine. You are no longer that leaf floating through the wind doing random things. You are instead now a man on a mission. Here's a pro tip for you. The first few times that you actually create this routine, your routine is going to suck. You're going to realize that you can't hit the gym at this point of time because you're just way too sleepy in the middle of the afternoon. So you're going to readjust the time at which you go to the gym. Probably take like a 15-minute power nap before you go to the gym. Then you're going to realize that, okay, meal 1 and meal 2 are probably too close because you still feel full from meal 1. So you're going to once again change the routine a bit, spread the meals out. Then you're going to realize that you're probably too tired to do that 1 hour of reading after work because you're just so mentally exhausted. So what you end up doing is changing the routine once again and placing your reading session before you actually go out for work or university. The moral of the story is you might not be able to follow the routine that you first create. So your job then becomes to figure out the reasons why you're not able to follow it and then readjust the routine. After making enough of these adjustments, you are finally going to end up with a routine that you can consistently follow for that period of your life. Here's the second pro tip. Ditch your perfectionist attitude. Accept the fact that there are going to be days when even a well-designed routine is hard to follow. Maybe you woke up feeling a bit sick and out of motivation that day. Maybe there are a bunch of extra chores that need to be handled today. On those days, rather than completely skipping out on the routine, follow what I call the 30% rule. For example, today you woke up feeling like shit and not wanting to work out or read. So instead of doing your usual workout, which is like an hour long, just do a workout that is 20 minutes long. Instead of reading the 30 planned pages of a book, read just 5 pages today. You're going to realize that when you lower the intensity of an activity to such an extent, then it becomes way easier to get started on that activity. This way you're maintaining the momentum of things, and it will make you much easier to get back on the horse the next day. Make your routine your best friend. Look, if you're just starting out and your routine already looks like this, then chances are you are probably going to hate it or at least get pretty anxious about it. What I would recommend is that you keep your routine fun. Don't go too hard into tasks when you're not familiar with them. And don't keep too many tasks back to back to back. Schedule breaks, go out for walks, and keep some hours of the day for spontaneous activity. What I would recommend is the 80-20 rule. 80% of your routine should be about things that improve your life. They should be productive activities. And 20% of the things should be catered towards fun and rejuvenation. Now you can adjust this ratio based on where you are in your self-improvement journey. If you're just starting out, even a 60-40 is amazing. So be gentle on yourself. If you would like to work with me to help you build that rock solid discipline, then make sure that you click on the link in the description and book a one-on-one call with me. You know, as a teenager, I used to hear my parents say, go to bed early or don't stay up too late. So I knew that staying up late was kind of bad, but I didn't really care. It was pretty fun staying up till 2-3 a.m. texting people or going out with the boys. But because of this, I pretty much had a broken sleep schedule for most of my life. What I'm about to tell you might not be what you want to hear, but unless and until you fix your sleep schedule, you will never truly be disciplined. And that is the cold hard truth. Because here's what happens when your sleep schedule is messed up. Firstly, your brain feels tired and slow when you wake up. This means that not only have you lost your ability to do productive things, but you have also lost your ability to resist instant pleasure. The days when you have poor sleep, you're much more likely to slip into bad habits. So sleep is basically the foundation of your life. If your foundation is shit, then there's nothing that can be built on top of it. If you're looking for some specific steps to fix your sleep schedule, then make sure that you check out some of Andrew Huberman's podcasts. One of his podcasts on sleep is more than enough to know everything there is to know about optimizing your sleep schedule. But there is a bigger thing that I want to address in this video. You see, most people already know that if they fix up their sleep, their moods are going to be better, they are going to have more energy, they're going to be more productive. But there is still going to be this tiny little voice in your head that wants you to stay up late. It wants you to binge watch Netflix at night. It wants you to go out with the boys. If you find yourself constantly listening to this voice and messing up your sleep, then I want you to sit down and ask yourself these questions. What do I want from the next 5 years of my life? Do I just want to spend them chasing quick pleasures, not growing mentally, physically, spiritually, and probably becoming an average person at best? If that is an outcome that you're truly comfortable with, then go ahead. Spend your nights as you wish so. But if the thought of being average, mediocre, it scares you, and you really want to become exceptional at your craft, then pay the price that is required for a good sleep. Ditch the 2 a.m. night outs, ditch the texting, follow the sleep protocols every day. And yes, having a good sleep schedule will actually negatively impact your social life. That is the truth. You will see less of your hedonistic, impulsive, purposeless friends who are just bringing you down, and you have to be okay with that being the price to being exceptional. But imagine if you actually fixed your sleep and you were waking up at 5 a.m. without an alarm, and you're waking up feeling fresh and motivated. Imagine you were able to do 4 to 5 hours of deep focused work first thing in the morning, and now you have the rest of the day to pursue all the hobbies that you never had time for. And I say this from experience. I did lose friends that were fun to hang out with late at night, but the truth is I do not miss any of them. I have felt the most fulfilled in years, and one of the reasons was because of fixing my sleep. As a teenager, I had a very toxic relationship with food. I was pretty much just using food to numb out any negative emotions that I faced during the day. Because I was eating this garbage 3 to 4 times a day, I had brain fog and my attention span was so bad that I could barely focus for 20 minutes. And I thought of myself as someone who was quite immature. Like I would have no impulse control. I would make the most inappropriate jokes at the wrong times. If there's one lesson that you can take away from me, know that the food that you eat not only impacts the way that you look, but more importantly, it impacts the way that you think and the actions that you do. Once I understood this principle, I went through a period where I was aggressively removing all sort of processed stuff from my diet and replacing them with whole, natural, single ingredient foods. Things like honey, dates, meat, eggs. And just making this dietary switch for 3 to 4 weeks, I noticed a massive difference in my mental health. Firstly, my attention span skyrocketed. I went from doing 20 minutes of work to 2 hours of deep focused work. And this progress actually got me quite motivated. And I asked myself, what are the other dietary protocols that I should be following to boost my productivity? So after quite a bit of research, I learned that even if you eat healthy food, but you eat it at random times in the day, then this disturbs your body's natural rhythm. And your body really does not like it and it's quite bad for it. On the other hand, if you eat food at regular times in the day, then your body's natural rhythm is in sync. Once I actually started eating my meals at regular times, I noticed 2 powerful changes. The first one was that my sleep became amazing. Previously, I would stay up for hours just tossing and turning, but now I would doze off in like 10 minutes after hitting the bed. And secondly, I was now feeling a lot more recovered once I woke up, and on most days I was waking up even before my alarm. It's as though my body's natural clock was working perfectly in sync with the day. The last dietary discovery I made was that your body actually likes periods of not eating anything. Like, think about this, your digestive system has been working since the time you were born. It's never actually got a break. And turns out that when you actually give your body this break from constantly digesting food, then your body finally gets the time to perform a lot of these repair functions that are actually quite good for you. So these days I do something like a 16-8 intermittent fasting approach, where I'm basically not eating anything for 16 hours in a day, and I have like an 8-hour window during which I get my 2 meals down. Some of the benefits that I've experienced with fasting is that firstly, my energy levels have gone up through the roof, and because of this I feel a lot more active now. It's like this childlike energy, and it's not just physical energy, it's mental energy too. My ability to do cognitively demanding tasks has doubled. And I know that this video is on discipline, but the truth is that the healthier that you are, the easier it is to get disciplined. That is why it is so crucial to get your sleep and your diet on point before you start implementing any other protocol. I've studied disciplined men all my life, and I found that most disciplined men have 3 traits that are just essential. So make sure that you watch this video to find out what they are and how you can acquire them too.